This episode of the Busted Wide Open podcast is brought to you by Blueberry. Blueberry offers the best media hosting, accurate listening stats, and their all-new PowerPress Deluxe sites. A no-setup WordPress website for your podcast with all the necessary links to share your show with the world built right in. If you currently produce a podcast and are looking for a better host, or if you're looking to start a new one from scratch, head over to orbitaljigsaw.com/BWO and sign up for the best media hosting and a PowerPress Deluxe site to get your first month absolutely free. That's orbitaljigsaw.com/BWO, or just use the promo code BWO at checkout for your first month absolutely free. And now, enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the only two-time PWG Battle of Los Angeles champion, King Ricochet, and you are listening to Busted Wide Open Podcast.
You're listening to the Busted Wide Open Podcast, dropping the elbow on the hottest topics in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. With your hosts, Nick Howell and Sir Ian Dangerous. Coming to you from the Orbital Jigsaw Network Arena in sunny Southern California. Welcome back to the Busted Wide Open Podcast, but if this is your first time joining the show, I'd like to welcome you to episode number 209. Still mourning the loss of our dear, dear Ricochet, my name is Nick Howell.
And still full from all the popcorn I have watched people eat in the last 48 hours, I am Sir Ian Dangerous, and welcome to the show. It is Busted Wide Open, and today we are going to be discussing Raw. That's right, Raw happened last night, and
that's one way to put it.
Show.
It happened.
It definitely happened. It was a thing, and it was the Fallout show from Elimination Chamber, and definitely fell out. We also had Edge return to TV finally. On this day, I did see clearly that Edge was back. Nick, let's do some housekeeping. Let's get our housekeeping done. Let's tell people how they can interact with the show, and then let's get in and start talking about Raw.
Yes, absolutely, guys. Always come over and join us on Facebook. All of these links you can find over at bwopodcast.com and in the description below here on YouTube. Join us on Facebook. It is the hub of our operation and where we link everything first. So head over to Facebook, search for Busted Wide Open, like our page, and send us a join request to get into the group with the rest of the phenomenal ones, our loyal patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support all the time. If you'd like to get in on some exclusives, head over to patreon.com/BWO. Sign up for one of those reward tiers. You can get access to all kinds of exclusive goodies, and it is the best way to support the show and one of the ways that we keep this show ad-free. So the bigger we get, the more we need. We're racing to 1,000 subscribers so we can unlock even more of those capabilities, and we're almost there. We've checked off every single box on YouTube except for one, that pesky subscriber metric. So if you see it on YouTube, down in the bottom left corner, we're almost there. We're right at 700. We've got to get to that 1,000 mark. Everything else has been accomplished. Thank you guys so much for all of your love and support at BWO Podcast on Twitter and Instagram, and I think that is everything, Sir Ian Dangerous.
Well,
there's
not
a
everything.
lot of stuff.
I gotta throw out some love here, man. People are going crazy in the chat. Esme, Brad, Josh.
Oh my goodness!
Tip the crap out of us. You guys are killing me right now. I'm overwhelmed and verklempt. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. Esme says
Yeah.
$1 for every day left until WrestleMania. Oh, thank you very much, Esme. With the $26, Brad Shepard with the $10. Anonymous tip $20. Who is
That's
anonymous?
Josh. That's
we
Josh.
are anonymous. We are Legion. We tip you $20. Thanks,
Seriously,
Anonymous.
guys.
Where's
Very
my
much-
V mask?
That's Josh. He said so.
Oh, Josh.
Anyway,
Thank
guys,
you, Josh.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who supports the show. Thank you guys for listening to us. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out in our chat live on YouTube right now. I'm revved up, Nick. I guess with all this, it means we've got to go talk about Monday Night Raw.
Well, on this day, I see clearly. Everything has come to light.
That Edge is back.
He's
and
back.
for some reason, MVP is calling him out and saying, I'm going to help Edge get his mind right, and maybe a partnership between the MVP brand and Edge will work out. Do you think Edge is here to talk to you, MVP? Randy Orton tried to end his career. Randy Orton RKO'd his wife. Do you think Edge gives a single sparkling crap about you? Because he does not. He came out to that ring, MVP's in the ring, noting that Edge is driving up. Edge stalks out of the car, goes right to the ring. MVP still like, hey, man, I'm talking to you. Edge just ignores the crap out of him until MVP brings up the fact that Edge maybe should be concerned about his wife. And Edge just kind of turns around slowly. You can almost hear like a creaking, like, you said what? Spears the crap out of MVP. And as he's standing over MVP, of course, like the sneaky sneck he is, Randy Orton out from under the ring goes to try to attack Edge, but Edge was prepared, hits him with his own move, RKO's Randy Orton, and then leaves the ring to go get a couple of chairs because, damn it, it's concerto time. It's time to concerto the crap out of that bastard.
The damn Viper slithered away.
Of course he did. But
Couldn't
you know
get
what?
him.
Edge going to kill somebody. Edge here to kill somebody. Edge is back. He's going to kill somebody. No Randy? All right, well, who's around I can kill? Oh, MVP's right there. So he grabs MVP, RKO's him onto the chair, gives him a concerto, looks at Randy, goes, this is you, Randy. Concerto's poor MVP who just wanted to talk. He just wanted to talk, man. Concertos him once. Bloodthirsty crowd starts screaming, do it again. And
One more time. One more time.
All right, fine. I'm here to mess somebody up. Bam, hits him again with the concerto. MVP's dead on the ground. MVP's just dead. Randy Orton standing at the top of the ring looking disturbed and kind of apprehensive, like, what have I done? I've unleashed a new kind of Edge. Takes off for the back. Edge goes running after him. And we find Edge in the back later looking confused and asking where Randy is. And he's told that Randy's already left the building. All right, so the Edge return, Randy Orton feud is on, Nick. Was it? Okay. Obviously, this was a lot of fun. But at the same time, I was sitting there going, why? What the hell did MVP have to do with this? Edge had to beat up somebody? Here, we had to see him get some action. Was it too much to have Edge get an RKO on Randy Orton? Was that too much revenge already? Like, is that too much physicality? Or was this pitch perfect to you?
Other than the fact that we had to listen to 3 hours of every 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere, guys. Edge is going to be here. No. Right. We're serious this time. Edge is coming, guys. Edge is going to be here. No,
that's a good point.
Edge is going to be here.
That's a really good point. Should they have made it a surprise and have him just show up randomly and everyone's like, oh my God, he's back? Should they made it a surprise and not advertise the crap out of it?
Yes. How I would have done this was had MVP come out and do his thing like he normally does, trying to recruit Drew McIntyre. And in the middle of that, unprompted, as just music hits and he just comes walking out and beats the holy hell, spears MVP out of the ring, gets him out, and then just calls out Randy Orton. That would have been so much more effective, because having him pull up Stone Cold style in the back and look like he's been away doing cocaine and methamphetamines for the last 3 weeks, just rage walking to the ring. He's been lifting weights for 3 weeks and just came straight to the... And if he had just run in and speared MVP without even saying a word, I like how he snatched the microphone, but I would have just speared him out of his shoes right then, grabbed the mic and gone, Randy!
Yeah.
Randy! So MVP...
I'm here, Randy!
Yeah, MVP needed not to say a word to Edge. That was the one thing that killed this segment for me. Everything else was just, mwah. Beautiful.
It was a little bit unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a vestigial part of this little angle here. But fine, at the end of the day, we know Edge is out to kill Randy Orton. We're right where we should be with this, with the level of intensity. I'm curious how they're going to keep this going for the next 26 days, but I'm not too worried. This is one of the best feuds going into WrestleMania, if not the best feud. Yeah. So speaking of WrestleMania feuds, AJ Styles called out The Undertaker. And Nick, when I say he called out The Undertaker, I don't mean he just said, Taker, I want your WrestleMania, although he did say that. He also said, Taker, you're an old man. You're past your prime. You should have retired when you had that great moment and Roman Reigns beat you and you left your hat and your coat in the ring and you raised your fist and it was beautiful. You came back and you screwed it up because you're an old man. You're broken down and you're not really Undertaker, are you? You're Mark Calloway. You're an old broken down Mark Calloway, and your wife, Michelle McCool. By the way, everybody, Michelle McCool is Undertaker's wife, and she's running her mouth and making Undertaker keep coming back out here. So you're going to run him into the ground. So you know what? I'm going to prove your wife right. I'm going to run you into the ground. I'm going to end your career, put the nail in your coffin, and send you, I'm going to take your soul at WrestleMania, Undertaker. Did AJ Styles in this promo, which by the way was hot fire, did AJ Styles in this promo breathe some life into a feud and an angle that up until now was just kind of by the numbers?
The last time we saw this much fourth wall and kayfabe breaking was probably the Cena-Roman face-off a couple years ago.
Yeah, it makes me wonder why they're doing it with Taker,
like
though.
They just balled it up and like they said Undertaker's name.
I know that's what this thing. And what's great is, by the way, Nick, go back and watch the moment when AJ Styles says that, because you can see a little bit of the crowd behind him, and as soon as he says, Your name is Mark Calloway, you see these two guys behind him who are they're both on their phones, and their heads just go, and they just whip their heads just whip up. Like, what the hell did he just say? It's awesome. The audience just goes, oh, you can hear them immediately just go, whoa, oh, what? They said Undertaker's name.
Oh, no, he didn't.
They broke the kayfabe on Undertaker on TV finally after all these years. Now that they're having Undertaker do Stone Cold interviews and everything, like they finally are starting to pull that veil off of him a little bit. And honestly, they kind of had to at this point, didn't they? Like, how long can you keep the mystique going? Like, you've got to get a little more realism into it. I don't know. It was shocking.
Perfect word. You said realism, because then he continues and says, your old ass should have retired when Brock Lesnar broke your WrestleMania streak. And we're all sitting there going,
There's a problem.
Yep.
AJ made some sense here.
Like, the whole thing was like, not only did you not retire after that, yes, the next year Roman Reigns beat you, and you neatly folded up your coat and you put your cute little gloves and your hat on top of it, and you walked out and you gave us all the fist and you were retired. But you didn't, and you still kept coming around. And I'm like, yep, that's kind of what we all thought too those 2 years. So I'm sitting here going, not only did he break the fourth wall, not only did he kill kayfabe in this, he also kind of spoke some real truth that we all thought. And I'm just like, that was the perfect little trifecta of everything that you could have done in this kind of promo.
You made a lot of people interested in this very quickly.
Yeah, the level of trust that they must have in AJ Styles to be able to do this on Undertaker.
Well, I mean, we know that AJ is now at this point, he is completely safe in the WWE. They love him. Vince loves him. He obviously wasn't sure of him at first. Now he loves him some AJ. That being said, I think the big speculation now, the rumor that's coming out is, okay, we're calling out Taker by his name. We're pulling the veil a little bit off of the Undertaker character. He didn't have the hat and gloves when he took out Gallows and Anderson, although he did when he came out at Super Showdown. Might we get some sort of version of Biker Taker at WrestleMania? This is always what people ask in like last few years. Are we getting Biker Taker? Could we possibly see the return of the American Badass?
No.
Okay. Why do you think that?
It's just not happening.
No,
the entrance. Are you gonna?
You've talked to Vince and you've told him. Well, and Vince.
Yeah, actually, Brad. We've got Brad Shepard in our chat from Ringside News apparently discussing how he wrote the article about it. So it must be true. I'm kidding, of course. Sorry, Sheppy. We coincidentally also have a fan and listener named Brad Shepard. So anyway. I don't think there's any chance in hell you're going to lose the gong and the flames and the big moon and the undead warlock mystique of the dead man. I just don't see that happening. It worked post-Attitude Era, and maybe a little bit. I just don't think that's going to be the thing.
Could we see a hybrid entrance where he starts with that and all of a sudden, boom, no.
You telling me we're going to play Limp Bizkit in 2020?
Kid Rock, but yeah, I don't know. Kid Rock you could probably get away with. Limp Bizkit, no. I would still shudder to hear Kid Rock because he's a scumbag and F that guy. But I don't know. It definitely is something that I'm like, if they were going to, this is the most likely I've seen that they're going to do it. Of all the times we've said maybe he's going to come out as Biker Taker, this is the one where I'm like, yeah, he could, because AJ's breaking the fourth wall on him. You know what I mean? And that was kind of, the American Badass was closer to who Taker is in real life. So, yeah, maybe he drops the Taker thing before WrestleMania. I don't know. I would be curious. Okay, well, I'm not sold. I could see it going either way.
All right.
2 more WrestleMania matches that we know we're having that they decided to remind us about. Becky and Charlotte both have their WrestleMania opponents now. Charlotte, we knew was going to be facing Rhea Ripley, and they had a little segment. We didn't know who Becky was going to face until Sunday night, but after Sunday night, we were definitely sure because Shayna Baszler murdered everybody in Elimination Chamber. So Becky came out to say, cool, well, I kind of figured it would be Shayna, but let me now talk about Shayna, who she called a black hole of charisma, which was... I liked how Becky put over Shayna here. I liked how she presented this match because she presented it as Shayna. Yes, people like Becky don't beat people like Shayna, except that Becky did it last year with Ronda Rousey, which she pointed out. She said that on paper, Shayna should be able to just destroy her, and it's going to come down to heart versus technique. I think that's absolutely the right angle to go in on this. Is you've got Becky, the plucky babyface, who just goes out there and fights with her heart on her sleeve, and Shayna, who's this mercenary cage fighter killer, who's just doesn't give a crap about you, and is there to break your arms and take your money and take your gold. Cool, done. I thought this was a great promo. I thought this set it up perfectly. It was exactly what it needed to be.
This is what they needed to have before Shayna did what she did the night prior in the Elimination Chamber.
But that would have made it so obvious that Shayna was going to win if they did it then.
Well, they needed to have something that is... Look, they had Becky come out and put Shayna over in ways that only a true promo master can do. She did a fantastic job of just letting everybody know who Shayna was and why you needed to give a shit about her. She was even admitting some stuff on there. Yeah, you snuck one in on me and bit me and all of this stuff. But she went out there and sold Shayna as how she's a valid opponent, and she's the right opponent. So I have all the credit in the world. Give all the credit in the world to Becky Lynch for doing this for Shayna. Here's my problem. They both kind of have two moves. Are we that excited about these two? Just are they mouthy at each other? Is that fun? Yeah, that's fun. But when it comes to physicality in the ring, is it going to be a disarmor versus Kirifuda clutch match?
Last year it was basically being presented as a disarm her versus armbar match. So I don't see why it wouldn't be again, but I think it's going to be more of can Becky survive. It's going to have a bit of a
diminishing return, isn't it?
I agree, but I think it's going to be more about this year about can Becky survive. Plus, it's also a one-on-one match for now, until something happens Friday, which I think might throw a little something in that. We'll talk about that in a second.
All right.
But I think this will be more about Becky having to survive somebody who can go in there and dismantle her. And frankly, if Ronda does the arm stomp that she did to Dakota Kai and a few other people in NXT,
that'll
get some attention.
Not
Shayna,
Ronda.
Sorry, thank you.
Yep.
I'm still thinking about Ronda from last year. She does that to Becky, she'll wake some people up, big time. Because Becky's pretty limber. She can take that move. Charlotte also had a segment where she said, here's that big, nice package of Rhea Ripley in the stadium. Isn't she great? Well, I'm the damn queen. This is my kingdom. Get out of here. And then was interrupted by Rhea Ripley, who came down and just basically started to talk. And Charlotte said, no. You don't get to talk. This is me. I'm the queen. I do what I want. You're dismissed. So Rhea said, fine, I don't get to talk. I'm just going to punch you in the mouth. She punches Charlotte in the mouth and leaves. What did you think about this segment? Was it just kind of a rehash of stuff we already knew? Was it like a reminder, hey, by the way, these two have a match?
Unnecessary, but, good for the live crowd, good for the filthy casuals to get a reminder of what you've got coming in the next 3 weeks to build the WrestleMania card, sure.
I'm sure some of them wash. Why do you keep calling them filthy?
Well,
Just saying.
I just do. It is what it is.
That's just mean. It's just mean. I thought it was
there are people that don't watch every week that might not know who Rhea Ripley is if they haven't been watching NXT for the last 6 months.
Sure, if they're just tuning in now, we're on the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I'll watch for the next month leading up to WrestleMania because I always watch WrestleMania. They're gonna watch. That's what this is for.
Kill some time. They have 3 hours to kill. Remind us of a match. It's just redundant, I thought. But that, again, we watch it every week, so I agree. Drew McIntyre is facing Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, so of course he had to have a match where he looked extremely dominant against Rowan this week. Rowan, who of course last week showed us that in his cage all along for the last 4 freaking months, he's been teasing us. There was something in this cage. It's actually a really bad animatronic spider, which they wanted to convince us is real. Thankfully, Nick, after 4 months of build and finally the reveal, it looks like that angle is over because Drew McIntyre in the middle of this match picked up the ring steps and crunched the cage, we assume with the spider inside of it. So that horrible angle has come to a ignominious end.
Sure glad we invested 4 months into that.
How much TV time did you and I spend watching Rowan talk to this cage and going, this better be good. It's not going to be, but it better be.
Yeah.
And then this is what happens.
It's going to be awful. I
remember us saying that every day. Spider and Drew Gulak is a pet killer.
And people trying to actually defend it going, actually, it's a tarantula. It's not really a spider because tarantulas are technically not spiders.
Technically, it's a bird eater. It's an Amazonian bird eater if you really
want to guys, that's the wrong thing to focus on. The fact that it was a Halloween toy is the problem, not whether it was a spider or a tarantula.
You couldn't, I mean, you got freaking Tom Savini working on the Fiend stuff. You can't get someone to give you a better looking spider? Come on, man. Come on. Anyway, well, we don't have to worry about it anymore because, Drew is now on PETA's hit list because he just killed this innocent spider. Monster, you killed a man's pet, Drew. That's not what a face does.
Hashtag whatever. For the kayfabes.
Oh my God. What? Okay, so does this cage go down as like one of those all-time WWE busts? Like, oh God, remember that crap?
We'll be doing a bonus episode here in a couple of years where it's like worst gimmicks ever, and that'll be one of them.
Worst waste of time. Worst waste of time in WWE. Yep. Rowan's goddamn cage. Jesus Christ. Anyway,
did he at least have a cool shirt on this week that we can call out?
Vordrung, actually, which is a Norwegian like folk metal neo-folk band.
Oh, we're back to that. Okay.
Yeah, they've been around. Well, they were around. They were around a long time ago. It's actually, if you know Gall, who was in Carving a Giant. What the heck is the name of that band? Gorgoroth.
Yeah,
you know Gorgoroth. So Gall was lead singer of Gorgoroth for a while. He's now got his own band. He's also, I've got to find the documentary they did on him. He's one of the most terrifying human beings on the planet. Like, once kidnapped a guy and made him drink his own blood. It's a long story. Don't have time for it now. Anyway, it's one of Gall's original bands. So yeah, cool shirt. Very cool shirt. Obscure. Good stuff. Rowan's shirt watch, everybody. Still fun. The one reason I look forward to seeing Rowan every week is us metalheads can be like, ooh, good one. Speaking of metalheads, Aleister Black was about to give one of his promos back in his black room.
Yeah, he's back in the room again. He's in the closet.
Back in the room. Oh, God. Thank God they didn't do anything in there. You had a knock on the door. Someone knocked. And it was Seth Rollins. Came in and Aleister Black stands up. We see the nice little lighting setup he's got going on there. It just makes him look like such an idiot that he's sitting in this room, like staring at a camera all moody, and he's got like a whole light rig around him. Oh, God. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. We can't have him like sitting in a dark throne in a misty room or something completely ridiculous like that. He's got to be sitting.
Because Aleister Black won't come out of the closet.
He's on a set. He sets up his own set, waits for someone to knock at his door. Come on. Stop it. Anyway, Seth Rollins tries to get Aleister Black to join him. Meanwhile, Seth Rollins has previously got his boys sicked on Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens has been taken out by the AOP and Murphy. So Seth goes to Aleister Black and says, hey, I understand you got a numbers problem. Well, I'm really good at fixing numbers problems. And Aleister goes, yeah, no, I'm good. I don't need to join your stupid little band of freaks. And Seth goes, well, I don't think you understand. It's not a request. It's demand. And Aleister goes, well, I think that sounds like fighting words. So yes. Let's fight. Yes. And we have Seth Rollins versus Aleister Black later, which this was weird, Nick. This was a weird sequence of events. We had Seth Rollins versus Aleister Black. Ends up being a DQ because Buddy Murphy gets involved. There's a beatdown on Aleister Black. For some reason, the Viking Raiders come out to save him. And then the AOP shows up and it turns into a big kerfuffle. Street Profits end up coming out. And it ends up turning into, for some reason, Aleister takes off, and we've got Seth Rollins, Murphy, and AOP versus Street Profits and the Viking Raider War Machine Experience. And that's your main event.
Where'd Aleister Black go? Did he just vanish
I don't know.
somewhere?
Yeah, he poofed back to his room. So then these guys all had a match that had just no stakes and just it was there. It existed. It was a thing. It was honestly an exciting, well-worked thing. It just didn't have a point. I tried to step back and look at it just as like an exhibition match. And on that metric, it was well worked. It was exciting. And the finish was Montez Ford getting stomped into oblivion. Kevin Owens coming out to get revenge on Seth, and Seth ended up turning the tables on Owens and stomping him like 8 times in the ring and looking like an absolute psychopath, which I thought was a great look to the end of the whole show. Yeah. They're obviously building toward Seth kind of holding out his hand and keeping his goons from getting in the ring. He's like, no, Owens is mine. I'm loving his physicality here, but is this just convoluted, Nick? Is it too much? Is it too many people jumbled together at this point? We were liking it for a while, and now it just feels like it's a mess. Am I crazy?
No, I was waiting for you to finish there because I want to make a corollary kind of point here. We see what's going. If we compare this to AEW for a second and what's been going on around the Inner Circle, there are a lot of different storylines intermixed in and around the Inner Circle, especially there leading up to Moxley getting the championship, and they executed all of that really well. And I feel like this is not being executed as well. I feel like there's way too much focus being put on Seth Rollins here and not enough around the outside edges of this, the outside orbits. Like, why would he be the one to try to come recruit Aleister Black? Why not send Murphy, who he had a feud with previously, who was one of the first one to knock on his door? Be like, hey, man, I know we had a feud back there, but you should really come talk to Seth. He's got some good points. Something like that. Tell me, make it consistent. Like just, oh, well, you don't have a choice, so now we have to fight. Just some of this stuff could have been executed so much better to where it made sense, and that's where I'm hung up on this. It's not that the story's bad or that it's too convoluted. It's just not being executed well. And there's so much potential here with all of this talent. Street Profits, Kevin Owens, AOP, Seth Rollins, Murphy, Aleister Black, Viking Raiders. You've got all of the top.
A massive amount of talent.
And it's just so much going on, you can't keep track of it because they're trying to cram it all into like one segment instead of break things out into separate things that all just intertwine with each other in the long run.
And not only that, Nick, it's being plagued by injury. Samoa Joe was a part of this before, and now Kevin Owens is a little bit adrift because he doesn't have a partner. I thought maybe Aleister Black would end up being Kevin Owens' partner. Maybe that's going to be what it is. He's going to be the replacement for Joe. I don't know. But it looked like it was heading towards a one-on-one with him and Seth this week. And then on top of that, we found out if you watch the match back, when Montez Ford does the crossbody onto Razor, from that point on, Razor is he's taking care of his right arm to the point where about a couple minutes later, he has to actually catch Eric coming through the ropes with one hand, which was very impressive. And actually, Razor finishing this match is impressive as hell.
Yeah.
Because he did it with one goddamn hand because he tore his bicep catching Montez Ford. It's fascinating to watch him work one-armed and just gut it out. Like, props to Razor for handling that business. But that means he's out at least 6 weeks if that's a bicep tear. So that throws us into even more trouble because who do you now have with, he can be there. He just can't have any action.
No, let me be clear. It's 6 weeks before you can even flex. Like I'm not allowed. I'm 3 weeks in from my repair,
gone.
And he's at way past Mania. It's 6. I'm not even allowed to like put load on my bicep for at least 6 weeks. So that's that. Yeah, he's gonna be, and then you can start strengthening again. So we might be 3 months without Razor. So the match that I wanted at WrestleMania is now definitely not going to happen. And I hate that. Even if there was a light chance that it could happen, I was pretty hyped about it.
It kind of did look like they were pivoting
seeing
that way.
Viking Raiders coming out Sunday night.
Or at least a four-way. I thought there might be a four-way in Mania with them involved. But now, who knows? Now you have these two face tag teams. And
we're probably going to get Murphy and Rollins again.
Probably. Yeah. Probably. Or maybe. Or Kevin Owens. I don't know. That throws it into even more confusion.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys here that because they're just kind of like circling in the air, we don't know where or if they'll be even able to land for WrestleMania because it's kind of convoluted right now. So Yeah, that's the word. The word of the day for all of this stuff. Convoluted.
Butters in the chat says Big Show's going to turn heel again and fill in for
No!
Razor.
Silence.
God damn it, no.
No, you calm down over there.
Don't you put that voodoo on me, Ricky Bobby.
Leave Big Show alone. Oh, what has he done? At least Alistair's getting some airtime. You know, he's getting to look fairly strong against their biggest people. So I'm not mad at that. So I'm just curious what their plan is for Alistair. But at least he's looking good. But God, get him out of the closet. The closet. People got me thinking about R. Kelly in the chat right now, man.
Yeah.
Trapped in the closet. I got to see that again. Trapped in the closet's brilliant.
Because Alistair's trapped in the closet.
Trapped in the closet with the
Tom Cruise.
A midget. Speaking of little people, Kabuki Warriors. The Kabuki Warriors came out to the ring and they were laughing their heads off, screaming in Japanese to the crowd, who just getting more and more worked up. And I got the feeling that this crowd was just so goddamn irritated by them. But at the same time, I was sitting there just tickled pink by the two of them screaming and yelling in Japanese and laughing their heads off. They called out Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. They got Liv and Natalya in a match. But let's talk about the fact that they're letting Asuka scream in Japanese and they're letting Kairi be just adorably psychotic and scream in Japanese. Let's talk about how awesome that is.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's what I've wanted all along. The fact that we saw all the problems that Shinsuke Nakamura had when he came up, and they couldn't figure out how to get him to cut English promos.
Oh God, speak English. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh. Well, I mean that was kind of cute for 5 minutes, but that was about it. And it was always just let them go out there and scream in their language. We're in such an inclusive, diverse society now. There's probably some Japanese speakers out there that are feeling pretty special right now, that they're getting to hear that in their native tongue. So, and yes, there are translations available online. I know you said you had broken some of them down.
Well, I heard her call, because so what's interesting about this is that if you hear them ever go like with their R's, that's actually like the equivalent of if you were like talking like, if you want to talk about like this, hey, yeah, it went down and Tommy Two Fingers and me, like we put the guy's cement shoes on and threw him in the ocean. It's a Yakuza thing. Like you sound thuggish when you do that. You sound like you're a thug if you roll your R's like that.
She's even growly voice doing that kind of stuff
too. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So she's actually putting on like kind of like a thuggy kind of persona here. She's calling the women dirty pigs. She's saying screw you, only not quite as politely. Like they're getting away with some stuff with what they're saying. What's particularly crazy is even if you're Japanese, you're going to have a hard time with Asuka's accent.
Okay.
Because she's actually, what's happening is Asuka's from Osaka, and Osaka is a very important town in Japan historically. And it used to be I'm trying to remember if it was ever, because the emperor lived in Kyoto until the end of the Meiji Restoration, which was 1860s. So Kyoto was where the emperor lived, but like the center of Japan, like where the shogun lived and where like the center of power was, moved around. And in the 1500s, Osaka was the center. Like Nobunaga conquered Osaka Castle and then took it over. His successor, Toyotomi, I think was his name. Toyotomi took over, and then Osaka was the place for years until the Tokugawa shogunate took it to Edo, now known as Tokyo, which is where it was basically since then until the Meiji Restoration. So Osaka was a very big town, but it became kind of like an outland town after Tokugawa took over. So it's kind of like she's from the countryside, or she's, it'd be like a Newcastle accent, or like here in the States, like a Southern accent, right? It's thick, and you start talking in it really thick. So, a Texan comes along and starts talking in a Texan accent really thickly, or you hear like a Glasgow accent, Glaswegian accent. It's thick, and sometimes even if you speak the language, you can't understand it.
Right.
I actually remember seeing Up, Up, Down, Down, where Nakamura was saying, yeah, dude, when she starts going off, she starts getting like fired up. Remember Braun Strowman on Sunday? We're like, you get back to the ring here, you son of a bitch. right?
I understand that perfectly.
Well, I know you do. You're from South Carolina. But that's basically what's happening is Asuka's sitting here getting all wound up, so much to the point where her Japanese is barely intelligible to Japanese people.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's amazing.
That is so much fun to know that that's actually what's happening. And in the meantime, even though we don't speak a single word, most people, of Japanese, and they're hearing this, it translates. It translates that she's just being like big and mean and cocky, and it's fun as hell.
Yeah.
So
and Kairi on the side being almost like a Harley Quinn kind of laughy psycho.
Oh, she's doing straight like anime stuff.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's fantastic.
Like
just that added that if Asuka by herself doing what she's doing would be amazing on its own. The fact that you've got Kairi Sane doing crazy evil Hojo stuff. Off to the just, oh my God, yes, please, this is so good.
Like
and people were complaining that it was like it went on too long, and I was just like, no, let this happen.
Bring it.
You're crazy.
Give it to me. Love it.
I know. Let's have Roman Reigns come out and cut another promo.
I think the only downside with this is that if they make it something that's consistently always like this, it's going to get grating because it's going to be the same thing over and over again. It's going to be kind of like the Iconics, where some of us are entertained by it, but some of us are like, oh God, kill me, make it stop. And I get that. This could get old. They have to be careful with it. But right now I'm loving it. So sorry.
Yes, please.
Eat it. All right. So they had the match. Bliss Cross are on the shelf for right now. We've got Natalya and Liv Morgan who come out, and it's a back and forth match until Liv Morgan gets distracted because Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan come to the side of the ring. They start brawling with each other because you just can't have, you can't put two chihuahuas in a pen together. They just start going for each other. Liv Morgan comes off the top turnbuckle, crossbody splash onto the rest of the Riott Squad. They're taken out. Natalya ends up getting murdered in the ring. So no surprise there. And it's what it's looking like is Bliss Cross versus Asuka and Kairi for the women's tag team titles at WrestleMania arbitrarily. But the rumor, Nick, is it was supposed to be Natalya and Beth Phoenix versus the Kabuki Warriors. So do you think it'll be a triple threat again, or will it just be Kabuki Warriors and Bliss Cross? Which should it be, I guess?
My only question is, where's the Iconics? Where are they done? We haven't seen them in like a year. Being
repackaged, I would imagine. But you can't really. You had to give some time. If you want to bring them back as a face team, which they kind of need.
Yeah.
They needed a while to be on the shelf so they can come back out and people can cheer for them. Only thing I can think.
Yeah. I'm not excited about Kabukis and Bliss Cross again. Sorry.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not either. That's it. Probably. Yeah. I don't know. It would take a lot for me to get excited about that, and they need to do a lot of build to make that interesting at all.
Yeah.
Although I would love to see Asuka get in the ring with Beth and Natalya. So every time Natalya and Asuka get together, it's good. It has been good historically, and it was good in this match. And that's Asuka working with a busted wing.
Sure.
So
Natalya's just kind of slow and prodding, and I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
I always want Natalya to do well. I hear nothing but good things about her from people backstage. So
I agree. I'm not judging her as a person. I'm just, I don't expect me to get excited about her matches.
I'm not. I can't argue. I can't argue with that. Rey Mysterio came out and beat Angel Garza. That's right. He's making out with the grandmothers in the audience now. Angel Garza. He was behold the dong. But Rey would not behold the dong. In fact, Rey kicked his ass, beat him clean. Is this Garza's way of being sent back down to NXT, or should they keep Garza on the main roster? And if they do keep him on the main roster, Nick, should he keep kissing people in the audience, letting them kiss him, man? He's going to become like a COVID-19 Mary, like typhoid Mary. It's going to be like it's going to be a nexus, or what do you call it? Where you're a center point for for it to come out from.
I don't know. You won't catch me going to any wrestling events anytime soon.
Vector Garza.
That stuff being as infectious as it is. So anyway, we haven't talked about that much, but at some point it's we have to have a real serious conversation about, is WrestleMania actually going to happen?
Well, dude, barring this thing turning into the Black Plague, I pretty much guarantee it is. They may cancel some access stuff. The Bellas have already canceled on access, but they're not. I don't see any way Vince is canceling WrestleMania.
No.
But yes, I'm gonna call Angel Garza Vector Garza from now on.
Okay.
I am. Also, the
Ground Zero Garza.
Yep. Riddick Moss continues his winning ways as the 24/7 champion, the longest reigning 24/7 champion. This week he beat Cedric Alexander. So now we have the twofer. Last week, Ricochet. This week, Cedric Alexander. The two guys that once were getting these great pushes as little cruiserweights, and now seem to be getting relegated to getting squashed by big 250-pounders, ex-football players. I have two questions here, Nick. One, is there any possibility that there was no coincidence that 1 week it's Ricochet and 1 week it's Cedric, and there may be something there that they're trying to work us by having it be back-to-back Ricochet and Cedric?
What are you getting at?
I'm saying, are they trying to make us associate Ricochet and Cedric with each other in the hopes that there's going to be some sort of redemptive thing for both of them? I am grasping at goddamn straws. Here's Nick. I'm a drowning man. My people are getting killed, and I want to see some sort of light at the end of the tunnel here. I'm trying to find some way. Like, they could have had Riddick Moss beat anybody this week after crushing Ricochet last week, but they had it be Cedric Alexander, another guy who was on Raw getting a good push as a little flyer, and instead,
what made Buddy Murphy the anointed one that kind of made it through all of this?
How did he survive?
Right.
He went and had good matches with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, survived that god-awful angle with Daniel Bryan and Rowan and Roman.
Look, I have to believe that Cedric, I'm not naive enough to not say that Cedric spoke up for ACH. He was involved in that whole mess.
That was the suspicion, yeah.
I know nothing. I have no inside information, but listen, I'm not gonna sit here and say that has nothing to do with it. I thought they had taken Cedric out back and put that horse down already. We hadn't seen him in months. So
unless you watch main event, which Ricochet was on this week.
Sure, the fact that he was on TV at all is a blessing, I guess.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm wondering if there's something more to the fact that it was both Ricochet and Cedric. If you see if you see Ricochet, not Riddick Moss, if you see Ricochet and Cedric teaming up in the next couple of weeks, remember this moment, because this is where I'm having that. I'm putting on my own tinfoil hat, Nick. I'm the tinfoil hat man today, because I need something to believe in here, some sort of hope, because I just can't stand the idea of Ricochet getting just tossed aside like trash the way that they have the last couple of weeks. So I hope that's the case. My second question here is, what's the deal with Riddick Moss? When did Vince start taking such a shine to him, and what is the end goal with his 24/7 championship reign?
I have no idea. He is now officially the longest reigning 24/7 title championship.
Are they trying to somehow legitimize this title again?
I don't know. They took all the fun and silliness out of it,
Yeah.
We now know that because Drew McIntyre squashed it, there's no way for the animatronic spider to become the 24/7 champion.
I'm out.
So yeah, I'm kind of checking out here. You took all the fun out of this. Like, the whole idea of it was silly, and that you had everybody chasing everybody around, and R-Truth doing, frankly, some of the best sports entertainment work we've seen in years, centered around that title. So what are you doing? I have no idea why I should even care about the 24/7 title anymore at this point. I don't know who Riddick Moss is.
Keep an eye on the 24/7 championship. Watch your favorites get squashed by an ex-football player. Speaking of ex-football players, Bobby Lashley beat Zack Ryder.
Okay.
I cared so much about this, Nick, I didn't even finish the note.
He's not kidding. It says R. Lashley Lana.
R. Lashley Lana. I just stopped. I couldn't be bothered. The question was going to be, are Lashley, Lana, and Rusev happy now that they were in that stupid angle that they were defending on social media for so long, now that it's completely just fallen apart and they're worse off than they were before?
We do know that
are you
Rusev,
happy? As a sarcastic question, even.
Well, we do know that Rusev is toiling away with his contract and negotiations and things like that. And normally when this happens, like with Revival, you don't see him on TV until all the things get settled and they agree to stuff, just in case an agreement can't be reached and they part ways. I understand what's happening here. Could you not have settled all that before you invested weeks and months into this Lana Lashley and Rusev story that then brought in a full makeover for Liv Morgan and then broke up the Riot Squad as part of it? Like, it had so many consequences. It had so much repercussions to so much of the roster. And now Bobby Lashley is squashing Zack Ryder.
Oh, my God.
Don't you all care? Aren't you all entertained?
Can I throw this out there, please? At least the Spiders got squashed, and that was entertaining. There was a hard stop to that feud. This just kind of trailed off. It just trailed off like a turd. That just, just couldn't come all the way out. This was a turd that the dog was scraping on the floor behind him. You know what I mean? It's just garbage.
Awful.
All right. There was some good. There was some bad. There was Raw. We got through it all, Nick, and there we are. That was Monday Night Raw for this week. We are that much closer to WrestleMania.
Down to 3 weeks.
Down to
3 weeks left, guys. Well, we don't want to end on that sour note. We're going to head over and do our moment of positivity.
Mop, 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 mop. Time for the mop. Moment of positivity. What made
dangerous?
No, you first this week, man. You first.
Me first?
You first. What made you happy in wrestling over the last, since we did our Saturday show, Elimination Chamber, Monday Night Raw? What tickled your pickle? What made you happy? What got you giggling? What put a smile on your face?
Asuka yelling at Shayna in the cell. Asuka's performance during the Elimination Chamber match, that was probably it was a close. It was both of them were Asuka this week. It was just a typical.
You can just do combine both of those Asuka moments together.
Just Asuka yelling in Japanese and how that has come to such a perfect head. I absolutely love everything Asuka's doing right now. Green Mist, Evil Kana, yelling in Japanese, all the stuff that you explained really puts some context behind it. So yeah, but that time where Shayna was just kind of prancing around during that 3-minute segment, and Asuka was just in the cage nonstop performing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so hard to do and should be so recognized and applauded. What she did there. So that's mine definitely. Seeing Asuka just go crazy.
Damn.
What about yours?
You stole mine.
Oh, son of a bitch. It's okay. We can have the same one. Because frankly, there wasn't that much to be excited about this week.
I'll give you another good one. I had another one as well. And that was the Daniel Bryan Gulak match.
Yeah.
And actually I'll even give an honorable mention. The Daniel Bryan Gulak match was definitely just it hit me on all the right places. But you know what, Nick? I'm going to say this is my mop. My mop is Sami Zayn has a singles title on the main roster. Sami Zayn is an Intercontinental Champion. I thought it was done. I thought the Sami Zayn experiment was over. I thought there was no way he was ever going to hold a belt. And I don't care about how we got there. I don't care about what is going on around him. Sami freaking Zayn is your Intercontinental Champion, and somewhere in Mexico, a whole bunch of orphans are celebrating. I won't say why, but they are. That's all I'm going to say.
That's a pretty good one.
That's all I'm going to say.
Well, there you have it, guys. There's our moments of positivity. But wait, we're not done just yet. We've got just enough time for our other news lightning round. Beep, 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 beep.
All right, let's knock this out, Nick. New Japan. We're not talking about that today because they don't not having any shows. They shut down everything because of the coronavirus. We should be in the middle of the New Japan Cup, which I was really freaking looking forward to this year because it looked like it was stacked. But no, instead New Japan has canceled all of its shows, and now it's canceling another week's worth of shows. Everything through March 21st is gone. That's nearly a month they've been off. All Japan Wrestling has also canceled everything. They are not messing around in Japan. They are canceling stuff right and left. At least if you need some New Japan fix, you can go on New Japan World. They've got a Toru Yano game show / talk show, which is just, it's glorious. It's with Ishii, Shoyo, Yoshihashi.
Tell me no more. I'm in.
Guys. Yeah, done. Sold. It's a lot of fun. If you need a smile and have some New Japan stuff, there you go.
Nice.
Triple H has a new job title. Before, he was the Executive Vice President of Talent, Live Events, and Creative. And it was just revealed that in February, his title was changed to the Executive Vice President and Global Talent Strategy and Development. So slight adjustment there, but it looks like that he's going to be more of a global figure, which does lend credence to the fact they are trying to get into other places besides just England. India, Japan are first on their plate. Matt Hardy has been showing up on some indie dates already. He is being promoted for FSW's Mecca show, which is going to be this Sunday. It's actually going to be at Sam's Town in Vegas, which is the same place, by the way, that the previous 2 nights we will have the Ring of Honor 18th anniversary show, which has some big matches. The Friday match is the anniversary show. The Saturday show is the past meets the future, past meets the present show, which looks great too. But the Friday, we've got Rush defending his heavyweight championship against Mark Haskins. Dragon Lee is defending his television championship against Bandito. I don't know if any feet are going to be touching the ground in that one.
Right. Flippy shit match.
The tag championships is going to be Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham defending against Marty Scurll and Flip Gordon. I could see that one changing hands. Other matches on the card: Briscoes versus Dalton Castle, Joe Hendry. PCO and Brody King versus Ray Horace and Alex Zane. You've also got the match for a future title shot: Dan Moff versus Kenny King versus Shane Taylor versus Bateman. Adam Brooks versus Slex. Eli Isom versus Bully Ray. And if Bully Ray loses, he will leave Ring of Honor. And then a women's match: Nicole Savoy versus Session Moth Martinez. So pretty solid show. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good one.
Actually really good.
Yeah. So, check that out on Friday. Meanwhile, in Germany this last weekend, the WXW 16 karat solid gold tournament finished up this last weekend. Cara Noir defeated Speedball Mike Bailey in the finals to win the solid gold tournament this year. I have not checked out that match yet, but I heard it was quite good. Alexander Wolf beat Ilya Dragunov and Avalanche for the WXW Shotgun Championship. And the kind of the biggest news coming out of it was that WXW mainstay David Starr will no longer be associated with WXW. He declined to really comment on it, but it's pretty much understood that he can't really work with them anymore because of their association with WWE. The same thing happened with him and Progress, where when Progress started getting associated with WWE, David Starr stopped working there. And it's because David Starr is pushing so hard for wrestlers to unionize, and obviously that's looked on fairly dimly by WWE. In addition, David Starr is kind of persona non grata at WWE after stomping on the NXT UK title after a match with, I think, Walter. And WWE saw that as being quite disrespectful. He went off on his own, did his own business on that. He did not clear that before doing it. So David Starr, not a popular man over in the dub. But he is popular overseas. He's going to be facing Jon Moxley in OTT Scrappermania in Dublin this Saturday. So, yeah, still getting him that work.
It's interesting that Moxley can do this if David's... where is OTT affiliated? You said Dublin.
Yeah,
is that an Ireland? That's a promotion I'm not too familiar with. What are they, just solely Ireland based, or are they spread out a little bit?
Yep. Yeah, they're completely independent. So
wow. So AEW is okay with Mox working, I guess, not only New Japan but other stuff as well.
Hey man, he was trapped in
That's
WWE
your
for how long?
AEW champion that could potentially get injured in a place that's not AEW.
He's not just doing that. You realize he's fighting at Bloodsport WrestleMania weekend. It's him versus Josh Barnett at Bloodsport WrestleMania weekend. So that's their champ going out there and doing other stuff. So that's a big deal.
I don't know if I'd be okay with that, but I guess everybody has their deal.
You're not
everybody has their contract. Yeah.
In some Impact news, The Rage has come to Impact. Alex Riley was there at some tapings this weekend. He finally showed up again. I really don't have any more than that. Alex Riley was at Impact.
Okay.
Yay. But also at Impact this weekend, Raven. Raven was working as a producer on the tapings this weekend. So I don't know. We don't have any specifics on if he's actually working for them in any kind of long-term capacity or if it's just a one-off, but he was there this weekend. He was putting together matches. So Very cool. Raven to Impact. A couple more things. Speaking of people going places, Luke Harper, a.k.a. Brody Lee, excuse me. That's going to get bad. Sin Cara and the Ascension are now more than 90 days out from their contracts. The no-competes are over for those four men, which means they could pop up anywhere at any time. Ascension have been working small dates, but now we could be seeing them other places, bigger places, perhaps coming out on AEW. You heard it here first. And finally, Nick, this one's for you, buddy. Nia Jax has been cleared to compete. Rumor is she's coming out this Friday on SmackDown.
No!
Yes.
No! God, no! Please.
Yes.
No!
Yes. Nia Jax possibly returning this Friday, possibly entering herself into the main event between Becky and Shayna Baszler to make it a nice three-way like the one last year. I kid. That's all complete speculation. But Nia is healthy, and I have seen rumors that she's going to show up on SmackDown this Friday. So take that for what it's worth, grain of salt, but put it out there.
I just can't win.
Nope.
I just can't win this week, guys. Can't win.
There you go, buddy.
And if they put her in some kind of three-way with Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler, come on.
Burn it down. Burn down the house. Every table flipped.
Not to mention Bayley. If she said she's coming out Friday, so Bayley, is she going to get involved in a title match with Bayley? Straight back from double ACL surgery?
How stagnant is the SmackDown tag team, the women's division, excuse me, just the women's division on SmackDown right now? Like,
it's awful. It's Carmella and Naomi.
Does it maybe need a little Nia?
No.
No?
Valley Girl, Upspeak, yeah.
I'm just
we
saying.
need some more of that on SmackDown, yeah.
Just saying.
We don't need any of that. Anyway.
Seen it coming.
Sorry, thanks for ending on a downer there, Sir Ian Dangerous. Good Lord. All these amazing cards that you just rattled through, and that's the thing you got to end with? Jesus Christ.
You're welcome, buddy. I want you to sit on that until we come back on Saturday. Sleep on it. Dream on it.
Yes.
Feel it. Know it. Love it.
Well, between now and Saturday, we got a lot of wrestling happening, and the best way to get in on some fine live chats is to head over to our Discord server. To find links to that, they're going to be pinned to all of our social media profiles, which I'll go over here in a second, or in the description below right here if you're watching on YouTube. Just head over to Facebook, search for Busted Wide Open, like our page, and send us a join request to get in with the rest of the phenomenal ones, our lovely patrons, and to get in on some of that, patreon.com/BWO. It is the best way to help support the show here with your hard-earned cash every single month. Thank you guys so much for being willing to do that for our little wrestling show that we put on a couple times a week here. We really appreciate all of your support. You can get into listener questions for our patron mailbag show on Saturdays as well, and you can get the ability to ask get the copies of the show notes for every episode and get bonus episodes, much, much more over at patreon.com/BWO. Speaking of Nia Jax, we're about 5 patrons short of me having to do the dubstep ringtone.
Yeah.
And share that with all of the patrons for everybody. So
I'm going to be calling you on every show we do. Just calling you repeatedly.
I'm going to have to leave my ringer on, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to contract Skrillex because I've never put a dubstep track together. I've never mixed a dubstep track. So
I'll figure out how to do it.
That could be the most miserable experience to have to. Oh, God, I'm going to have to listen to that a million times. Oh, well, yeah. So I dare you guys to get us to 50 patrons. You have it. There you go. And you'll all get a copy of it as patrons as well. So there you go. 50 patrons. We'll hit it, and you all can have a copy of it. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at BWO Podcast. We stream live right here on YouTube every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern and every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're subscribed and you got the little jingle bell notification set to all so you get notified anytime we go live or put up some new content. But my name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at Data Center Dude.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
But by God,
somebody stop the damn match!
This show is part of the Orbital Jigsaw Network. For more episodes, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio. For details and show notes from each episode, check us out, orbitaljigsaw.com.